with succulents. Gardening with succulents is one of the joys of being able to live here in California's Bay Area. There's a wide variety of desert-loving succulent plants that grow extremely well in our Mediterranean climate. And over here is a nice group of succulents. We have the Aeoniums, they're with the large flat green leaves. Next to those we have a grouping of Echeverias. Echeverias are just magnificent plants. The color, the shape, and the texture of their leaves, there's so much variation in the theme with the Echeverias. Up behind him over here we've got the Ponytail palm from Baja, Mexico. I really like this one. In this case the leaves aren't succulent, they're agave-like hard straps, but the trunk of the plant actually is where the water is kept. Being able to fool the eye and the mind by combining foliage like this gray leaf succulent here from South Africa along with this little ground covering fuchsia over here called Fuchsia Procumbens. This is in the partial shade area where I get some shade during the afternoon. The sun is bright enough that it allows for the growth of desert plants in combination with what would ordinarily be considered South American alpine plant. Alstroemeria, the Peruvian lily, and the southern sword fern, which is common on lava flows in Hawaii, all cohabitate over here along with succulents that create an amazing, almost alien type landscape. Contrasting the different textures of the plants, here we have ice plant with pink flowers on it right here. That's the Delosperma ice plant. Next to it we have creeping thyme heading over my path. On the other side of the path there's more Echeverias. As we head up the rocks we find more of the euphorbias from Africa growing next to crassulas over here with their felty furry leaves. Real nice contrast over there. Same color in both of the plants but a completely different surface texture. Over here we've got more euphorbias again, mixed with the pork and bean sedum, which is native to Mexico. Succulents make for great container plants. Here's a wiener dog made out of clay, and he's got the pork and bean sedum growing in his back. That gives you wieners with beans. Succulents up here in a strawberry jar. Long ago gave up on trying to raise strawberries in these things because it dries out too much. Up in the back we have an old palm stump. The palm stump is festooned with the rat tail cactus. Here I'm combining crassula with a red foliage in between the bright green creeping thyme. So many different sorts of succulents here in combination. Here they're trailing down the edge of the rock wall, and even growing in the crack over there next to the driveway. We've got the hens and chicks got started down there. They couldn't compete so well with some of the others, so they kind of jumped ship, went down on the driveway. Up in the background there's lavender growing. I really like using lavender against these drought-tolerant succulent plants. A little bit of blue fescue clump grass growing here amongst bronze Echeverias, backdrop by Grosso lavender. Beyond that there's Munstead lavender with its purple flowers still showing on top. You see elfin thyme spilling outward, which is very soft and green looking, almost mossy. On the edge of the path here we've got creeping thyme, Sedum Angelina, and a chocolate aeonium, which really makes a striking contrast with the chartreuse color of the sedum. That's bordered by quite a population of lavenders over here. This is actually a jade plant. It has a rolled foliage to it that is unusual, and most of us don't recognize jade because of the leaf on this one. Being able to raise such fascinating plants in this area and being liberated from the garden hose to do it is one of the amazing parts of succulents. Here we have all these fascinating colors and shapes and textures, yet we don't have to be hooked to our garden hose here during the 6 months worth of dry weather that we experience when we use these plants in our landscapes. I love having all these different plants from so many different regions of the world. The one thing they all have in common is they exist in Mediterranean climates.